Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's having a good day. What is going on? That needs to be updated. It's not updated. Hey, Genji, how you doing tonight? Happy Tuesday, Genji. Hope you're doing well. So the plan tonight is we're going to attempt to once again try and complete Heroic Tomb of Sargeras for like the third or fourth straight week, it feels like. I don't even know anymore. I guess, yeah, third week. Third week in a row we're going to attempt to try to clear this raid. I'm not holding my breath. Things are going to go super well, but what can you do? All I can do is try to keep working at it. I am looking for a fresh run. Unfortunately, I am still in a position where I am in need of drops from the first couple bosses. So, yeah. Unfortunately, we'll be looking to get drops from some of the boss kills early on in the dungeon still. As to the current legendary situation, I'm still working on trying to get this ring right here. Specifically, I am in need of it for the talent build I'm currently using, basically, is what it comes down to. And unfortunately, I haven't got it yet, which is kind of unfortunate. Alright, we got into a Tomb Heroic run. Let's hopefully not suck it up. But if things go super sideways tonight, I'll probably wind up eventually at some point going over to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! So, yeah, that's the plan for tonight. Tomb, attempt not to die, which probably won't happen because we always die in Tomb. And then, yeah, take it from there. So, the Antorus raid did come out. I have not tried it yet. I would like to at some point get around to trying it, but I'm not going to hold my breath that things are going to go super well for me there. But we can at least try it at some point. As to the legendary situation, I am still working on upgrading my existing legendaries because I can't get them to drop again, but I do have a way to upgrade them to level 1000. I need to basically upgrade this cloak first, and then this belt in that order. What I'm really hoping to see is by the time I get around to trying to upgrade the belt, this ring will have dropped. It basically is the ring that makes the current build I'm using work super well, and since I'm currently not using it, it's making things a little awkward. It's kind of a big deal. The whole purpose is the Divine Purpose skill makes the cloak go from a okay item to an absolutely incredible item, and it gives me a massive DPS increase. And unfortunately, I just haven't got it yet. I am up to a 951 item. I did finally get a 910 relic from the Relinquish vendor that wasn't complete trash. I got a little unlucky. It gave me the best two actual traits here, but it gave me the absolute worst Netherlight Crucible trait, which is a little unfortunate. So, $400 for an old school Blue Eyes. That sounds about right if it's in good condition, and it's probably been graded and stuff like that. Definitely not something I can afford. So I do need to make sure here that my loot is set to Retribution, that I have not set it to Protection spec at the moment. Since, as I said, we are looking for Retribution drops, not Protection drops. Specifically, literally the only drop we're looking for off the first boss is Infernal Cinders. But there's a reason we're looking for Infernal Cinders. Basically, it's the second boss here is the boss we're really trying to get a good drop off of. I'm looking, you know, unfortunately, I don't need these braces anymore, but the trinket, the helm to go to 915, The necklace even could potentially be okay, but honestly, it's this right here, the smoldering thumb screws. It's a 915 relic. I know I just purchased 2 910 relics earlier tonight, and maybe that wasn't the best decision, but, you know, it is what it is. Because even if I get this 915, it's only technically +1 item level overall compared to my 910. And because of that, it may not, if I get really bad luck with what traits it gives me at the Netherlight Crucible, it could actually wind up being worse than my 910 relic. And that's sort of where my big problem comes in with the Netherlight Crucible, is the fact that it's completely random what relics you get, which that's bad enough, but then you could have literally you could have 2 of the same relic in your bag, and they could have completely different traits from the Netherlight Crucible that makes one absolutely godly and one absolutely trash tier. And I think that's where my big problem comes in. Instead of putting in a system where it's like, okay, you get this relic, it gives you this base one, you can then sacrifice other relics of that type into this relic that you already have to make it better. Because it's like, it's more RNG in the loot system when you really don't need more RNG in the loot system. So, there's my thoughts on the bonus loot system, and the Titan Forge. It's the same problem I have with the Titan Forge Warforging system. And Blizz's whole argument is, oh, well, you know, it gives you a reason to keep farming bosses that you've got on farm. And it's like, Blizz, that's maybe fine for, like, the Mythic Raiders and stuff like that, but maybe, you know, put that system only at the Mythic tier then, and not in, you know, the Heroic tier and stuff like that. Because it's very frustrating when you're trying to get a loot drop, and it's like, oh, well, you know, unfortunately this didn't Warforge Titan Forge, and therefore it's worse than an item. Like, the fact that I have Heroic Titan Forge 910 chess piece from Nighthold that's better than anything in normal mode, unless it Warforges or Titan Forges on me, it bothers me a little bit that I'm like, I am doing an entirely new raid, and yet the normal gear drop does not beat the heroic gear drop from the previous tier. Okay. So, who needs the summons? Summon all the people. Battleship Powered Core. Oh, I don't care about that, so maybe I should. It gives me cash, I don't really care. Start summoning the people. Great Sea, can summon that person. Fiends Run, they're basically here. They're here, they're here. Krause's Landing, I can summon that person. I almost don't want to summon this person because she's literally sitting there while we're looking for people and she's like, summon me. Eglin Point, where the hell is Eglin Point? I don't know. I'll summon that person, I guess. Oh, never mind. I don't have to summon that person. Twisted. Votador, the Vindicar. All these people could be running here, like... Cool. $500 for a Blue Eyes White Dragon? I mean, look, you can post anything you want online and try to sell it for whatever you want. Doesn't mean people are going to buy it, so... $500 is definitely not something I would pay for a Blue Eyes card, unless that thing was like, rated 10 by like a respectable card rating service, and it was a 10 out of 10 and like first edition, and even then, I don't think I'd pay $500 for that card. The whole point of the card is I want to be able to play the card, not just look at the card.
That foul stench in the air means the Dreadstalker roams nearby. This vicious pet of the Legion must be put down if we are to reclaim the temple.
Shard of compacted energy is still worth having. Buy a big frame, just put Blue Eyes cards everywhere. Hey man, go for it. Do it. Maybe get one from like every language the game was printed in then. Just be like, look, I am multicultural. I'm not gonna go summon people because they didn't want to fly here. Like, the Warlock had plenty of time to walk his ass here at this point. Go, guys. What are you talking about? You go, then. You want to go summon people? Go summon them. Apparently our rogue is just, like, insulting everyone. He's like, everyone else walked here, don't be a fucking bitch. Secretly, actually, I summoned people. But we'll go with the fact that, no, I definitely did not summon anyone. Warlock left. That's fine. Druid is here. Oh. Everyone should be here now. Geeth Calypso. Tyrannical Gladiator Shanker. Okay, that's pretty cool looking. I'll give him that. Why is he taking death from above now? Finishing move that empowers your weapons with shadow energy. 2-part attack. Yep. And then, yep. And 50% stronger. I don't... I guess... What? Interesting. Everyone should be... Do 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 do. Oh, Mythic Tomb, you actually had a pretty good looking set now that I think about it. I honestly am not a huge fan of, like, the early versions of the Antorus Raid stuff. Honestly, I find it pretty awful looking for the most part, but you get to this Mythic set. This Mythic set's pretty legit. I'm down with this Mythic set at the very least. You get a buff, and rock, paper, scissors, you get a buff. Okay. Just gonna sit here and wait now. No, I've been sitting, waiting, wishing you believed in superstition.
Come, face your doom. Hold still.
Alright. Pew 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 pew. Pew 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 pew. Why is the boss facing this way, not the wall? Pew 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 pew. Tank literally just stood in front of the fucking boulder. I don't even know what to say.
Burn the fires of my torment. Hold still. Easily broken.
And one of the DPS died. But it wasn't me. Da 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 ba da da ba. Wasn't me. Da 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 da. Wasn't me. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Wasn't me. Do 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 do. It wasn't me. Yep. Cool. Great. Awesome. Dying because people aren't putting things where they need to go. Alright, fuck it, I'm gonna have to bubble this one. All the shit's like over there.
Pain rains upon you.
Yep, cool. Getting attacked for no reason. Well, this group is looking to be like it might not be a good group, so yeah.
I will flatten you.
I haven't been targeted yet by anything, so I mean that's good. And the tank just died, and now I'm gonna die. Oh, because we're wiping.
Burn the fires of my torment. Stay where you are.
Woo, buddy. Barely made that. Barely made that. Oh, I died. Yep, we literally just wiped on the easiest boss in here on Heroic mode. This is a good start to the night, guys. I might actually have to go and crack open the bottle of Corona that's been sitting in my fridge for over a year and a half and start drinking tonight. Because that was rough, boys. That was real rough, boys. That hurt my soul a little bit. That's how bad that was. Like, I felt the pain of that in my soul just now. Someone's like, I've never wiped on Goroth before. I mean, I have. I've seen it happen. So yeah, things are going well. Pointing fingers already. We're now explaining on heroic level difficulty mechanics on the first boss in the instance.
I have many lucky dues you like.
Do not hesitate to deploy them.
Many farewells.
So what do we got in here right now? We got 12 people, 2 healers, 2 tanks, and what, 8 DPS then? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 8 DPS. All right. Yeah. It's good stuff. Okay. We'll give this one more attempt with this group, but if we wipe again, as much as I would love to stay, I'm not going to stand here all night killing the first boss while we explain mechanics. Oh god, he's relisting us.
Of the Legion must be put down. We are to reclaim the temple.
Hey Carmadillo, how you doing tonight? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. We're having a grand old time here, wiping out. Good stuff. Things are going well. Herbalife left. Exile left. Cool. All right. Yep. There goes Votador. Tardos. Wow. I'm just going to report that for offensive language. Yeah. Lukey left. Alright, Lukey and Lotus both left. I mean, good luck to you, Geth Calais. I'm actually just going to look for another group. I'm not going to sit here with that group. So, Matron? No, I'm looking for Tomb. Sargeras Heroic. Here we go. And Taurus Sisters. No, I'm absolutely no. No, I'm not joining that group. No, need all solid and no mechanics. Need all... Sure, I'll sign up for this one. Daho of Illidan. There we go. Sure, why not? This one looks chill enough. Why are all the PvP servers active right now? Oh god, I'm in with fucking Young Talav again, or whatever his name is. Yeah, offensive language, you can report for it in the game. Don't worry about it. Like, I don't mind someone just calling someone bad, but, like, don't start, like, calling out entire regions. I played with some excellent South American server people in World of Warcraft. There was no reason to go where he went. Ah, yes, the Dreadblades. Right here, right here. This is the trinket I really need to get from Antorus. It's off like the second boss, but that actually requires me to be able to clear Antorus through the second boss, which, oh boy, might actually be tough. Yeah, it's second boss, Foulhounds, right here. Trinket buddy. Also, really solid belt drop. 930, yeah. Next, meh. Antoran Charhound, whatever. Boots. Take those boots. Antoran High Command. Yo, here it is. Antoran High Command. This... Oh, buddy. This relic right here. 930 Wrath of the Ashbringer Light Relic. Bonus roll that boss every day of the week. Aeonar. Yeah, we won't be seeing any of this for a long time, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. How many people do I recognize from the raid I was just in? Hey, it's Harrington and, Lotus and Jai and Young VT Lord. Oh, the dude was basically, when you're playing here on the North American servers, when Blizzard put in something called Cross Realm, where basically you can play with people on other realms. They combined the North American with the Mexican and some of the South American servers. And so the South American servers are Ragnaros, Firelord. I'm forgetting there's a couple others. I don't think it's Sargeras. I know at least is it Quel'Thalas? I know at least Firelord and Ragnaros are both very heavy South American servers. And back in the day when the servers were first combined with the North American servers for like finding people to fill your group with and stuff, the servers weren't super great. And so the South American servers got a really bad rap back then for being, you know, bad players. And there were a lot of jokes back then about, you know, ragtards and stuff like that. And so basically, you know, over time the servers have gotten better, the player base has gotten better down there. You know, Blizz has done a really good job making it so that, you know, those servers, when you're playing together with them, aren't, you know, having massive lag issues and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the gentleman I had to report he was definitely insulting some South American people. I'm not going to repeat what he said just because there's no need to, but it wasn't something where it was like, that wasn't needed. Like, the group was falling apart already at that point. You know, you didn't need to be sitting there insulting people for no reason, basically. Unfortunately, I'm now stuck in a group with him again, but thankfully, I have him on mute. Okay, I mean, are people already inside? I guess I'll just fly in the raid instance. If we need to come out and summon people, I can run back out.
That foul stench in the air means the Dreadstalker roams nearby. This vicious pet of the Legion must be put down if we are to reclaim the temple.
Why is no one healing? All the healers are not here. The Worgen. Their whole gimmick is that in vanilla World of Warcraft, they weren't in the game. They weren't added until Cataclysm, when Deathwing basically, you see this during their opening questline. Deathwing basically swoops down and breaks down the Gilnean wall where they've been hiding in Gilneas. But basically, they were a faction of the Human Alliance living right near Lordaeron, which is where Arthas Menethil was from Warcraft 3. Sylvanas and her undead take it over once it's abandoned, because Arthas basically slaughters everyone in Lordaeron when he becomes the Lich King, or the early versions of the Lich King. And so what happens is King Gen Greymane, the leader of the Gilneans, they are being attacked by mysterious werewolf monsters, as you call them, the Worgen. And so to protect his people from Sylvanas and the Scourge, but also to protect themselves from the Worgen, they basically seal themselves off behind this massive barricaded wall called the Gilnean Wall. And so what happens in Cataclysm is that you find out that the Worgen are actually the people of Gilneas being infected with, at the time, they're being infected with what's called the Scythe of Elune. It is basically, Elune is a goddess to the Night Elves, and she is the moon goddess, and her scythe during the War of the Ancients, which happened like 10,000 years earlier on in the Warcraft lore history, was summoned by a druid of the Fang to try to enhance his powers to fight the original Legion, which is what we're fighting right now. And the problem was the scythe was too much for him to control, and instead of turning into a wolf or a cat, which is what the druids normally turn into, he lost control of his mind and basically turned into a Worgen. And so the scythe eventually was lost, and then found in vanilla World of Warcraft, then lost again because it was stolen by the guy that we gave it to. We then found it again in Gilneas. It was then lost again and taken by the Outriders, or not the Outriders, the Dark, oh god, what's their name again? They're like the Dark Riders or something. that worked for Medivh. They're basically spirits bound to Medivh, who's this super powerful wizard that's been dead for ages, but unfortunately he was so powerful that, like, even though he's dead, his spirit's still around in, like, corporeal form. And so the Worgen originally start off where they're stuck in their Worgen form, but over time they find a way to control the Worgen power so that they can turn back into humans. But you know, you basically go through the storyline of them capturing your character after you try to fight against the Worgens originally and seal them out, and then Sylvanas' invasion, and then you join up with the Alliance again. But basically, they're a faction of Alliance humans that got turned into werewolves because a super powerful magic artifact that was lost by the Night Elves wound up cursing everyone in Gilneas, basically. So I think that's probably the short of it, but there's a ton of really interesting lore there. Unfortunately, I play Horde side, so I don't play Alliance side, but Worgens are a really cool race. Their models are a little out of date at this point compared to some of the newer models, but Blizzard is working on trying to update the models for the Worgen. Okay.
Smash you to pieces.
What are you doing? Fucking run to the side! Jesus! Why is our tank sitting there with a Comet Star on him? Cool. Great. Got hit. Somehow. Not sure how. Jesus, this fucking Death Knight who's like, I'm gonna fucking stand here and DPS as long as humanly fucking possible.
Burn the fires of my torment.
And we lost a tank. Cool. We lost both tanks at the same time. Coolio. Not sure how we lost two separate tanks.
I will flatten you.
Stats and playstyle depends on what class you pick. They have access to Warrior, Mage, Druid, Rogue, Hunter. I think they get access to Warlock. I honestly don't remember. I think they get access to Priest. I think they have access to Mage. But basically your stat priority isn't determined by what race you are. I mean, it sort of is in the sense that, you know, what classes you can choose from determine what race, what classes you get to play, based on race. But it's not like, and people are leaving. Yep, I love having to tank the boss because kick them all. Yeah, coolio. So if you play, they only have access to, and they can be Death Knights. If you can be a Death Knight, I believe if you already have a character at level 55 or higher, you can have a Worgen Death Knight. So yeah, cool. People are dying to the first boss and everyone's leaving. So the one strength class they have access to is the Warrior. Leather agility wearers are Rogue, Druid, and I guess they have access to Monk. I don't remember if Worgen can play Monk or not. I think they can, but I'm not positive. Worgen Monk, maybe. Male Male Agi wears hunter. Cloth is priest and mage. So, yeah. Does that answer your questions, Carmadillo? Anything else you want to ask? As I said, I'm not positive if they can be a monk or not. If you want, you can probably just quickly double check the World of Warcraft site, and it'll tell you if Worgens can be monks or not. For some reason, I think Worgens can't be monks, just due to some weird restriction Blizz put in place. But I could be wrong. Blizz could have lifted the restriction on that by now. As I said, unfortunately, I don't remember every single race-class combination that's out there. My brain only can hold so much information. A were-priest? Yeah. They, Worgens can be priests, if I remember correctly. As I said, I don't play Alliance a whole lot, so I'm less versed in Alliance race-class combinations. So, sorry. Oh, right. Before I forget, I do have a new poll out. I do have a new poll. Here's our fancy new poll. Sounds about right. There's actually some really cool little story bits if you play a Worgen balance druid. You literally wind up finding the Scythe of Elune as a balance druid, and I've heard there's some weird special interactions with that. Also, if you go to Valshara, which is one of the new Legion zones, it's basically like a special druid zone. You actually meet a faction of the people of Gilneas that wound up being isolated from the rest of Gilneas when the Broken Shore got cracked off from the rest of the world, basically. They were, they used to be part of Gilneas. You actually meet up with a small, town of them in Valshara, and you can actually find feral Worgen in Valshara, and if you are a balanced druid with the Scythe of Elune, you can actually use the Scythe to remove the Worgen curse from them. He was bitten by a radioactive priest. I mean, that basically is what it is. Call him the altar boy. Let's go, people. So there's the poll, guys. As I said, I did update it from the one I put out earlier. Mostly just to reassess a few things now that I realize Final Fantasy 15's not out yet. And just to tell you all, like, how soon we would be getting to that game if you vote for it. So if you're looking for something else, just heads up on that. Oh, God, look at this ring. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is, like, one of the best little secret rings in the game. The problem is, to get it at this level, as you may notice, you have to, like, you know, clear a super high-level mythic dungeon, which is rather difficult. But the reason the ring's so good for a melee, any class that has auto attacks built in, is it's just a 10% free damage. There's no downside to it. It's not like, you know, boost your auto attack by 10% and lower your spell damage, you know, or something like that, or, you know, it's not like an oscillating effect. So if I could get a really solid version of this ring, I'd be super happy. This plus the legendary ring are basically my two best rings as Retribution. The problem is, as I said, you have to get super lucky in order to get a really good version of this ring to wear. So that's usually why you don't see people using it, because you can't get a good version of it to wear. Go Genox. I'm not sure where... There's Genox. No, I'm not playing the how close can I get to the boss without aggro minigame. That's a terrible minigame to play.
You will know pain.
I need to get closer.
Hold still. Hold still. Smash you to pieces.
I just lost a bunch of DPS time, unfortunately. Forgot my buffs weren't out. And the tank died. Yeah, and the other tank died. Cool.
Fires of my torment.
All right, good stuff.
Authentic mortal.
Well,
Easily.
this was been great. Cool. I have no idea how our tanks keep dying so badly. So currently I am fighting a Siege Breaker Infernal Beast by the name of Goroth.
These mortals are
Basically the objective right now is we're trying to kill the bosses in this raid to stop. I mean, this is an old raid now. There's new content after that with the last raid of the expansion out. But basically the storyline of this raid is we are attempting to prevent the Legion from resurrecting the fallen avatar of Sargeras. Sargeras is like one of the big bads in this game. And currently Kill Jaden, one of his lieutenants, is in this raid doing some crazy evil shit, trying to resurrect the fallen avatar. And so we're trying to fight our way through all these bosses so that we can go and stop the Sargeras from resurrecting the fallen avatar and basically plunging our world into fire and brimstone. Because that's bad, okay? If you're asking mechanic-wise what I'm doing on this fight, basically the way this boss works is he has two main abilities that the raid has to worry about. First, he has a falling star common ability where he'll target a specific member of the raid with like a falling fell comet out of nowhere that you have to make sure to not drop on any of the spikes he summons or near other raid members. The other major mechanic is he basically bowling ball rolls out a massive like infernal brimstone ball, and you have to make sure that you run that into a pillar so that the rock blows up and doesn't kill you or anyone else in its path. There's a third mechanic, which is every once in a while, he'll do a massive AoE. That'll hit the entire raid unless you're standing behind one of the giant infernal brimstone pillars he summons. And you have to stand behind it or else you die because the damage is just too much otherwise. So there's a couple major factions of big bads. There's the Void Lords and the Old Gods. There's the Burning Legion and Sargeras and Kil'jaeden. And then there's some smaller factions like the Scourge and the Lich King. And then there have been, other bads from here and there like Ragnaros, the Fire Elemental Lord, Illidan, who is now on our team, mind you, after we brought him back from the dead. In Burning Crusade, he was the big bad, basically. So basically the Void Lords and the Old Gods are like the baddest of the bad dudes. Under them is Sargeras and the Burning Legion, who the Void Lords are out there in like space, basically attempting to corrupt titans, which are basically the souls of planets. And so there's what's called the Titan Pantheon, who are the cores of planets that have awakened already, and they're out there trying to awaken the planets for the good side. And what happens is the Void Lords find out that they can corrupt the cores of planets and the titans and turn them into basically like evil titans. But the problem is, if they succeed in that, basically the whole universe is going to end because that's really, really bad. So the Titans are out there trying to stop them, and Sargeras is one of the Titan Pantheon. And what happens is he finds out about the Void Lords and what they're trying to do to the planets. And instead of being like working with the other Titans that are already out there in the Pantheon, he's like, fuck that, I'm going to literally destroy every single planet in the cosmos so that the Void Lords are not able to corrupt any planet in the universe. And while he's off doing that, the rest of the Pantheon finds our planet Azeroth and finds out that there is a Titan spirit inside of Azeroth. But the Void Lords also find out about that. Now, the problem is the Void Lords can't directly do anything, just like the Titans can't directly do much. So the Void Lords basically space gun shoot through space the Old Gods, who are like these malignant tumors basically on the planet. Basically think of it as like a blood cell in your body, and you know how like cancer infects it and stuff like that. It's sort of like that. Azeroth is a blood cell, and the Old Gods are basically a cancer on the planet. So the Titans find Azeroth, but the Void Lords shoot the Old Gods into the planet. So the Titans attempt to literally rip out one of the Old Gods, but in so doing, they basically do massive damage to Azeroth. So they decide, we're not going to do that, and instead, they basically summon the Keepers to keep watch on Azeroth, to keep the rest of the Old Gods sealed and in check. Now that leads to some problems because the Old Gods are super, super powerful and unfortunately wind up eventually corrupting some of the Keepers, and we wind up fighting the Old Gods. Or not, we don't fight the Old Gods in their purest form. We fight like fragments of them in raids. There are 4 old gods: Yasharaj, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, and Enzoth, the Corrupted. And so basically what happens is the Titans attempt to rip Yasharaj out of the world, and it doesn't end well, so they create the Well of Eternity, which then has other ramifications, because once they're done putting the Keepers and sealing the old gods in Azeroth, trying to keep them sealed in place, they go back and find out what Sargeras has been doing, and Sargeras literally slaughters every single other Titan in the Pantheon. This is probably one of the things I have the most problems with in the World of Warcraft lore, is it's like the other Titans are all as equally powerful as Sargeras, and he fucking bodies like all 6 of them. Okay, he basically takes a 1v6 and fucking wrecks them so badly that they literally send with the last of their power, their spirits, into the Keepers that they created on Azeroth. Okay, but that has ramifications of its own, which I'm not going to get into too badly. So Sargeras, after basically wrecking the fucking shit out of the rest of the Pantheon and the Titan gods that were in it, goes about and creates the Burning Crusade, which is the name of the second expansion. And he winds up, he basically starts working with demons, which demons are not very good people. They're like on the scale of bad guyness, they're like on the far end, but there's a ton of them. And he starts working with them and basically systematically scorch earthing every single planet in the universe. And so eventually what happens is he sends the Dreadlords to Azeroth, or first to Draenor, and basically starts working with Gul'dan on old Draenor. And this leads into Warcraft 1, 2, 3, the original RTS games. Basically, Sargeras finds Gul'dan on Draenor and has him invade Azeroth, because Sargeras tried to directly invade Azeroth himself with a fragment of his power through the Well of Eternity that was created by the Titans, and it didn't work out well for him, and he was stopped, and then he tried again, and that didn't work well for him because Aegwynn, who is the Guardian of Tirisfal, what the hell just happened? Why did we summon the big scary boss thing? I do not want to die, thank you. Jesus. Basically what happens is Aegwynn, who we're about to meet here in a minute, she was the Guardian of Tirisfal, and she had a baby inside of her, and she winds up fighting the Avatar of Sargeras, and winds up defeating him, but uses up so much of her magical power that the Avatar of Sargeras winds up infecting her unborn child as she is defeating him. She then seals him in this tomb, basically, on the Broken Shore, here on Azeroth. And the baby she has is Medivh, and when she dies, Medivh becomes the next Guardian of Tirisfal. But because Sargeras infected Medivh, basically Medivh and Gul'dan, who both are Gul'dan is actively working with Sargeras. Medivh is basically being controlled by Sargeras because Sargeras basically has like super infected Medivh through and through. They wind up summoning the Orcish Horde in Warcraft 1 to Azeroth to try and destroy the tomb and get Sargeras back, the fallen Avatar. It's a huge chunk of his power. The heroes of the Alliance wind up stopping that original invasion. Basically, this is all stuff you could see in the Warcraft movie that was made, even though it's a really, really bad movie. And then, it's not a bad movie. It's a fine movie, but if you're looking for something that's good, it's not something I'm going to be like, yeah, you definitely need to go watch this. Why do I'm dying. Why am I dying? People, why am I dying? And then, so Warcraft 2 happens, where the Horde invades again, and it starts off the whole chain of events with the humans versus orcs, and them not liking each other. And then, let's see, Warcraft 3 happens, and Archimonde, who's basically, Archimonde and Sargeras, who are Archimonde and Kil'jaeden, who are two of Sargeras' main lieutenants, once again attempt to invade invade Azeroth. But now they've put a few other basically chess pieces on the board. Specifically, the Ner'zhul, who they met on Draenor, who he winds up becoming the Helm of Commandment, which the Helm of Commandment is what helps make Frostmourne. And so Sargeras and Archimonde send out Ner'zhul and the Helm of Command to basically create the Scourge in Warcraft 3 and find a champion to help the Scourge summon the undead to weaken the defensive forces of Azeroth so that Archimonde and Kil'jaeden can invade Azeroth and basically destroy any resistance that's there. The problem is Ner'zhul turns against them and says, screw that, I don't want to work for you guys. And so he creates Frostmourne in the Helm of Command, and he winds up... I have no idea why you would just stand behind there when it was on me, but Julio. They basically, Arthas, who is Prince of Lordaeron and son of King Menethil III, he goes to investigate the fact that these undead sightings have been happening all over Lordaeron, and he winds up meeting up with Kel'Thuzad the Mage, who Kel'Thuzad has been told by Ner'zhul in the Helm of the Lich King that he needs Arthas, and so he needs to basically help corrupt Arthas. And so that's basically where the Warcraft 3 storyline comes in, with Arthas going from a paladin to becoming a Death Knight and working for Ner'zhul and joining up and eventually becoming the Lich King and killing off his own father, a la weird Hamlet stuff. And not Hamlet, and then, sorry, I'm trying to focus here on not dying real quick, guys. I will get back to answering the rest of that question in a bit. Hey, we killed the first boss after 3 attempts in 2 separate raids. Good job, us. I got cash. Money. Unfortunate. Was really hoping to see that trinket finally, but alas. So here's the image of Awen that's been left behind. She's talking to Khadgar, who is the newest Guardian of Tirisfal, basically. He inherited from Medivh, who was, as I said, Awen's son.
I never anticipated that the Legion would find another way to
so
breach its dark heart.
I gotta get into some other stuff here. Let's see. Basically, Thrall. If you've ever played Warcraft 3, that explains a lot of what's going on with, like, Thrall. That's why, like, he's so important. He's the son of one of the original Orcish invaders from Draenor. And he winds up teaming up with Jaina, who is a companion of Arthas, because they are contacted by basically the dead spirit of Medivh that, like, hey, yo, the Burning Legion is coming, you need to stop fighting amongst yourselves and, you know, recruit some allies or else you're all going to be wiped off the face of the planet because Burning Legion's no joke, yo. And that leads into the Frozen Throne expansion to Warcraft 3, where at the end, basically Illidan, after the War of the Ancients, which happened, as I said, like 10,000 years ago in the timeline here, he's been in prison that whole time by the Night Elves because he basically became a demon hunter, and, you know, that's a big no-no. He's released from prison, and then, you know, bad things happen, and Maiev happens, and that's basically what sets up Burning Crusade, the second expansion. Lich King's basically set up as well at the end of the Frozen Throne, with the whole fight between, you know, Arthas and Illidan, where Arthas is going to meet up with Ner'zhul, and Illidan's like, no, I can't allow that. You don't know what you're doing. And they fight each other, and Arthas basically overpowers Illidan, so Illidan retreats to Outland, and Arthas becomes the Lich King, and that's sort of where original vanilla WoW picks up. If you ever played Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne, they actually have a special campaign story mode, which is the founding of Orgrimmar, which is like the major orc capital in this game. And you meet up with Chem Stormstout of the Pandarans. You basically meet up with Rhaegar. You meet up with Vol'jin again. Or, you know, Thrall, as he's basically building Orgrimmar as the Orcish capital on Kalimdor, which is the other major continent basically in this world. You have Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms. These were originally the only 2 continents in the game. Pandaria was added in an expansion. Broken Isles was added in an expansion. Maelstrom was added in an expansion. Technically, this island right here, Vashir, was added in an expansion. Northrend was added in an expansion. You notice the fact that, like, if you look at the old maps of Azeroth, it's very interesting to see that, like, how exactly did no one notice these massive land masses all that time for, like, 10 years? Let's quick recap Vanilla WoW. Ragnaros the Fire Lord is doing Fire Lordy things, trying to burn everything to ash. We stop him. Then we have to deal with Neltharion, who is the son of Deathwing. Deathwing is basically the leader of the Black Dragon Flight, but he winds up going insane and becomes, you know, a basically crazy Black Dragon who stopped before we see anything basically in the Warcraft lore, except maybe, I think he's maybe in Warcraft 2. I can't remember. I've never played Warcraft 2. Yeah, there we go. Once we're done dealing with Neltharion, we go into Silithis and have to deal with the Silithid invasion. The Silithids are basically a mindless hive cluster of units, which we eventually find out are a splinter faction with the Klaxi and Pandaria. But basically, they're servants of the old gods sent to invade Azeroth by one of the old gods to try to weaken us so that the old gods can be resurrected. And then we eventually, in Ahn'Qiraj 40, after it was finally unlocked in Vanilla, you fight the first of the old gods in the game, Cthulhu. Cthulhu is basically a giant eyeball monster thing with a mouth. And then to set up, for some reason, don't ask me why, they put in, instead of putting in a lead into Burning Crusade, they put in Nox Ramus, which was the last raid of the expansion. Nox Ramus is basically a giant floating citadel where Kel'Thuzad the Lich, who is one of Arthas' major servants, starts invading with the Scourge from Northrend, and it was a super hard raid, but it was really kick-ass. And then we originally thought that the next expansion was going to be something to do with the Lich King, since, you know, Nox Ramus and everything. Turned out that was wrong. We wound up being invaded by... No, we wound up going to Outland because the Dark Portal reactivated, so we wound up going to destroy Draenor, now known as Outland, which we saw the destruction of that in Warcraft 2, I think it was. I've never played Warcraft 2, unfortunately. And so we wind up going to Outland and fighting Illidan. First raid was the remnants of the Burning Crusade that was left over from the original invasion before it got sealed off. So we fight Gruul, the Dragon Slayer, we fight Magtheridon, and we get to actually go into Karazhan, which is Medivh's special little tower thing that he has as the Guardian of Tirisfal. And basically, it's a super powerful, like, Nexus ley line of energy, where, like, there's just basically a whole bunch of arcane ley lines in the world which help control the flow of magic, all converge at where Medivh's tower is, and so we go in there to do cool magic stuff, basically. I don't know how else to describe it. It's magic stuff. Or don't let me run away, that's fine. We then have to deal with Tier 5 is dealing with the lieutenants of Illidan, Kelthus Sunstrider, and Lady Vosh, who Lady Vosh is a Naga who works for Queen Ashara. Queen Ashara is one of the more normal bad guys in the game. And I say that with the most respect possible. But basically, she was tempted by Sargeras to give up the Well of Eternity, and she winds up summoning the Burning Legion, which starts off the War of the Ancients, which, as I said for multiple times, happened like 10,000 years ago. She is working for Illidan. Kelthus Sunstrider, basically, you find out betrays Illidan because Illidan is actually being hunted by the Legion currently. He sells him out to Sargeras and basically offers Sargeras or kill Jaden, I guess, or Sargeras. I can't remember right now. Hold on, I have to double check. Winds up offering the Sunwell, which is a fraction of the old Well of Eternity's power. Let me double check. Burning Crusade, raids, Sunwell. Yes, it's Kill Jaden. Basically, he offers Kill Jaden a way into Azeroth through the Sunwell. And I just died while I was talking. Shit. And basically offers to bring Kill Jaden in through the Sunwell into Azeroth, which is no-go. So we wind up at the end of Burning Crusade. We wind up fighting Kill Jaden in the Sunwell, and we stop Illidan at the Black Temple. But we find out that Illidan at the Black Temple was not actually a bad guy. He was just a misunderstood good, like, gray hero. And everyone's dying for some reason. I mean, I died because I was a big dummy and talking and not paying enough attention to what was going on there. But I'm unsure as to why everyone else is dying at the moment.
From the darkness, surrender your will to me.
Hey, Chris. Hope you're doing well there. And then we lead into, as I said, Lich King, where Naxxramas is now moved from trying to invade Eastern Kingdoms to Northrend, where we meet up with... we once again fight in Naxxramas to stop the Scourge from invading, and we're also finally going to stop Arthas being the Lich King and all evil and everything. And so, once we're done with Naxxramas, we also have to deal with Malygos, who is the aspect of the blue dragonflight. Basically, there's an aspect for each of the dragonflights. There's Black Dragonflight, who is in charge of the earth, the Blue Dragonflight in charge of magic, the Green Dragonflight in charge of nature, the Red Dragonflight in charge of life, and the Bronze Dragonflight, who is the time manipulator ones. They basically control the flows of time, so the time wastes don't get fucked up by people trying to basically rewrite history and stuff like that. Malygos basically goes insane because he says that the people of Azeroth... This is another one of the weird raids. I still don't know what exactly caused him to go insane. The game never explained it very well. Basically, he goes insane and says that the heroes of Azeroth... basically, they have been misusing the magic and ley lines of Azeroth and abusing them, and because of that, they're going to cause a calamity, and he decides to wipe out all life on Azeroth, and Alexstrasza, who is leader of the Red Dragonflight, says, no, I can't let you destroy all life on Azeroth, and so we wind up actually killing Malygos off, which leads to a whole bunch of stuff happening later down the line. And then... whoop! Once we're done fighting Naxxramas and Malygos, we move on to Ulduar, where we meet up with the Keepers that were created by the Titan Pantheon. And basically, they're all named after Norse gods. I literally shit you not. You meet up with Odin and Loken and Sif, spelled S-I-F, Sif. in this game. And then you wind up... You can tell Blizz doesn't really... Oh, there was also Obsidian Sanctum, which is a fight against the Black Dragonflight because Black Dragonflight's evil. Yeah. Eye of Eternity, Obsidian Nax. Ulduar was next. Basically, you wind up fighting against the Keepers of Ulduar, who are Hodir, Thorim, Freya, Mimaron, who were basically left in charge of keeping Yogg-Saron, the second of the old gods we wind up meeting, from breaking free of the prison that the Titans put him in. No, all the bosses don't have the same voice actor, but they use a lot of the same voice actors for a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of similar voices in this game that are from like the same actor. They've just tried to tweak them slightly. So unfortunately, by the way, here is the new poll that I have made. It has been updated to reflect more accurately what games we will be more likely to be playing next. Not next, but sooner rather than later. So we eventually wind up fighting our way through Ulduar. We wind up freeing the Keepers of Ulduar and destroying the piece of Yogg-Saron that had broken free and had summoned servants of the Void Lords / Old Gods into Ulduar, and were doing bad things, and we didn't like that, so we stopped them. Then basically we get back to trying to actually stop the Lich King. You know, our original mission in Wrath of the Lich King. I almost wish that Ulduar was the last raid of the expansion. It always seemed odd to me that, like, oh yeah, we're not going to go fight the Lich King right now. We're instead going to go fight the Keepers of Yogg-Saron while the Lich King is literally right behind us. Right. So what winds up happening is Tyrion Fordring, who's this super badass paladin that used to wield Ashbringer, which is the Ret Paladin legendary I currently use. It's basically... I need to interrupt more. How to describe this? He basically brings the Argent Crusade, which is it used to be a faction of just humans. It eventually wound up bringing in people of any discipline. To basically, he takes the Argent Crusade and he decides to hold a tournament to find champions to go fight the Lich King. Sorry, the Argent Dawn was the original version. The Argent Dawn eventually becomes the Argent Crusade in a crusade in order to stop the undead and the Lich King. He winds up summoning the Heroes of Azeroth in the raid, the Trial of the Crusade, in order to find champions to go fight the Lich King. And Lich King shows up and he's like, at the very end, he's like, haha, Anubarak, who you met in Warcraft 3. He's like, you have only delivered unto me more champions, and I'm going to stop you right here and now. We went up to defeating Anubarak, who is one of the Anubrakan. I think that's what they're called, the Anubrakan? No, the Anuba Sith? No, I forget now what the actual name is for Anubarak and his faction. You wind up then killing him, and then you eventually wind up invading Icecrown Citadel, where Blizz just literally made, like, super random bosses, because Lich King on his own wouldn't be quite cool enough. So you wind up fighting like a giant bone skeleton called Lord Marrowgar. That's where the joke Bone Storm came from, because literally that's his special attack. He literally spins around while yelling Bone Storm. So yeah, you can imagine how the World of Warcraft community, acting like little children, latched onto that. You fight basically a vampire. You fight the professor from Futurama. Literally the dude, the entire fight against Professor Putricide is one giant spoof on Futurama. Professor Putricide is basically an undead version of the professor from Futurama. You wind up fighting Sindragosa, who was once Malagos's mate. of the Blue Dragonflight, but she was killed by Arthas as the Lich King and then resurrected as a giant skeleton dragon. Yeah, Malygos didn't take too well to that, as you may imagine. And then you wind up eventually fighting the Lich King himself, and he then freezes Tyrion and kills you all off because he's still super fucking overpowered. The power skill is very weird in this game. Like, Lich King literally one-shots you off the face of the planet, yet Kill Jaden, who's far stronger than him, like, can't just one-shot and kill us. Anyway, Lich King one-shot kills you and then starts trying to resurrect you, and then Tyrion in a giant frozen ice block because he's terrible at his job as a paladin and doesn't use his divine shield ability. Basically has this hilarious monologue where he's like, "Light, please, grant me this one final blessing. Break me free from these shackles so that I may strike down our foes against the light." And he basically breaks out of the ice and he finally channels like all the power of the light into Ashbringer and shatters Frostmourne in two. And what happens is all the spirits of all the people that Frostmourne's ever killed start coming out of the Frostmourne, including Arthas's father, King Menethil III, and he winds up resurrecting your party, and you wind up killing Lich King off, and then Arthas is there dying. He's like, "Father, I feel cold. I see darkness coming." He's like, and his spirit of his dead father's like, "My son, no king rules forever. Be at peace, my son." And so Arthas dies, and Bolvar Fordragon, who's one of the other major champions of the Horde, he was thought to be dead at the Wrathgate, which is a major turning point in the Lich King storyline, where you are invading you're trying to invade Icecrown directly through the main gates they have, and the Lich King basically comes out and he's like, "Ha-ha!" And you start fighting him with these two major champions, Bolvar Fordragon and Saurfang the Younger, and you get stabbed in the back by this rogue faction of the Forsaken, which is the undead in this game. The good undead, the ones that are part of the Horde, not the bad undead, because there's two separate versions of the undead. And you wind up, they wind up dying, basically, because this rogue faction releases this new plague virus to try to defeat the Lich King with, and it winds up killing what you assume is it winds up killing Bolvar Saurfang the Younger and injuring the Lich King. Turns out that Bolvar survived and Arthas has been torturing him since the Wrathgate, and he wound up turning Saurfang the Younger into a mind-controlled Death Knight, basically. And so Bolvar winds up saying there must always be a Lich King, and so he actually puts on the Helm of Domination that Arthas has been wearing as the Lich King, and basically sits his giant burnt ass down because Alexstrasza wound up breathing on him with red dragonflight flame breath, which has like special rejuvenation properties. So instead of dying, he's basically a giant burnt charcoal corpse that Arthas has been torturing. He winds up sitting down on the frozen throne, becoming the new Lich King. And then you find out that the next expansion is going to be against the Twilight Hammer, which is this evil faction of cultists that wants to bring about the resurrection of the old gods and the Void Lords and do bad things. In this weird raid in the Red Dragon Shrine where they try to invade and steal eggs from Alexstrasza because Deathwing did it once before. And so that leads into the next expansion, which is Cataclysm, which is Deathwing in his madness has been infected by the old gods, wants to destroy all of Azeroth a la Sargeras style because he says the land is dying and he doesn't want crazy bad guy insanity things. And so you wind up going into Cataclysm, where Deathwing basically shows up, breaks through the literal core of Azeroth from the Maelstrom, where the Earth Elemental Lordess or Queen has been living, named Therazin. She's basically like this giant floating rock with like, holy shit, if you like a giant floating feminized rock as something that you might be attracted to, Therazine's your jam then, guys. You know, standard. The reason you can't grind any higher Carmadillo is because each expansion has a level cap, and you can only gear up so much on your own. The raids are meant to be done with other people during the current expansion. I mean, I can go back and literally spank the shit out of any old raid up through, Warlords of Draenor solo at this point with my character. The problem is current expansion and the expansion right before are a little bit tougher to solo on your own because you don't have the overpowering amount of gear you need to just basically stomp on everything. So this is unfortunately not a game where you can just over-level stuff. It is an MMO, and that means you have to play with other people. So, let's see. We're in Cataclysm. First 2 raids of Cataclysm. Deathwing's son is back from the dead. Turns out you didn't actually kill him. He fake died. You also find out his sister that you've killed like 3 other times is still alive. Onyxia. Back in Vanilla, she basically helped kidnap the King of Stormwind, Varian Rin, and turned him into a gladiator and basically took on their persona, Lady Katana, or what's her name? Lady something Prestor or something like that. She winds up secretly trying to control Stormwind by becoming this noblewoman who is basically taking care of Anduin, who is Lord Varian's son. You wind up eventually unmasking her and being like, haha, Nixia, we knew it was you. And you wind up then killing her twice because Blizz loves to reuse raids. Lich King versus Kratos. Probably give it to Lich King. Assuming that Kratos can't break Frostmourne, I doubt he could beat Lich King. Maybe he could. I mean, he took out, you know, Zeus and stuff like that, and Titans, which is a lot more than Arthas has done. I guess it depends on, like, Arthas, because he nearly lost to Illidan. So I'd probably actually have to give it to Kratos, but, you know, Kratos is also, like, meant to be super overpowered. Lich King is meant to be strong, but in the grand scheme of things, Lich King Arthas is, like, not much stronger than a player character. Oh god, I can't wait till I can come back in 2 expansions and kick the shit out of this place, because god damn it. So anyway, Cataclysm, Deathwing blows up the world basically because he's big and crazy and somehow no one can stop him while he's running around blowing everything up. First 2 raids of the expansion, as I said, you wind up having to go and defeat, Nefarian, who is Deathwing's son. Again, you wind up finding out that he resurrected, Onyxia, his sister, into a giant zombie dragon. You kill him off, and then you go and have to deal with Cho'Gall, who was once a member of the Shadow Council, who was from Draenor. He's a lackey of Gul'dan, original Gul'dan. We're gonna have to get into some weird Gul'dan stuff in a bit. And so you wind up killing off Cho'Gall, who's trying to basically, as I said, resurrect the old gods to destroy Azeroth. And Deathwing is like their weird leader because they think he's trying to... Anyway, as I said, Deathwing gets corrupted by the old gods and stuff, and bad things happen. So you wind up defeating those 2 raids. Next raid is, guess what? Motherfucking Ragnaros is back because, god damn it, Blizz loves to reuse their raid bosses. So Ragnaros is back, but you're actually invading the actual elemental plane of fire. The elemental lords cannot be killed off unless it is on their own plane of existence. Oh, there's also Alakir, the wind lord. You end up going and killing off the elemental lord of wind, Alakir, as well, because he's doing weird stuff. The Alakir storyline, killing him off, always sort of bothered me. But you wind up going and fighting him because he's considered a chaotic elemental lord that wants to destroy the world rather than protecting it. You also meet up with, as I said, Therazine, the Earth Elemental Lord, and Neptulon, the Earth Elemental, or the Water Elemental Lord. But Neptulon gets captured by the Naga and then somehow saves himself in Legion. Blizz literally had to retcon this. I kid you not. They introduced Neptulon and meant for there to be an entire additional underwater zone in this game, but the zone he was in was so poorly received, Blizzard literally rewrote during Cataclysm. They got rid of the entirety of that water raid because of how poorly received it was, and had to retcon the fact that Neptulon had to wind up saving himself from the Naga after he was kidnapped and asked you to come save him at the end of his dungeon. So that's hilarious because Blizz, you know, as I said, has problems with their storyline. So then you go and beat up Ragnaros in the Firelands, and you permanently kill off Ragnaros, and that eventually leads in this expansion to a new Fire Elemental Lord being named. And then after Firelands, you wind up... Oh god, I'm trying to remember. Cataclysm, you wind up going to... Dragon Soul, that's right. Blizz literally did, they literally did all 3 of these raids in the same tier, and then Firelands, Dragon Soul, and that was it. It was a really odd expansion. You go to Dragon Soul, where you wind up fighting against Deathwing and eventually killing Deathwing off, and everyone celebrates because Deathwing's bad. Okay. Cool. So you go through Dragon Soul, where Deathwing is trying to destroy the rest of the dragon aspects before they can activate what's called the Dragon Soul, which is basically a fragment of each of the dragon's powers that was originally deployed during the War of the Ancients that Deathwing stole from the other dragon aspects and did bad stuff with. And I am dying over here, and no one's dispelling me. Cool, no one dispelled me. Well, I like to stop getting hit by that now. Okay, thanks. Cool, we all got hit by that.
Respite from the darkness. Surrender your will to me.
So that takes us through Cataclysm, and I will get to what happens next in a moment. I actually need to kind of focus here.
Respite from the darkness. Surrender your will to me. Pain beyond measure. I offer respite from the darkness. Surrender your will to me.
Yep, cool, great. Someone fucking dropped shit right on top of the entire raid. Good job, team.
Resistance will only bring pain.
Lich King versus Aron from FF10. Are we talking like late game super god mode Aron? I give it to Lich King every day of the week. Aron's strong, but Lich King way stronger than Aron.
Pain beyond measure. Feed me with your screams.
It's too far away. I'm out of range. I need to get closer.
Your defiance.
Loot! Please give me loot. God damn it. Bonus roll. Give me loot, damn it. Are you kidding me? Still no loot?
Forged ancient wonders and shaped the earth itself. Today, it shatters.
Oh
the
my god, someone got a
bonds of
930 heroic
seek to
warforged
crush us all.
necklace. Lich King versus Marshmallow. Marshmallow can be destroyed by special effects. Lich King Frostmourne destroys Marshmallow. Oh my god, I want all the revenge on Host. Host, I will almost purposely come here almost every week just to kill Host until I've had my fill. Alright, so we finished up with Cataclysm. That eventually leads us into Mists of Pandaria, because Blizz didn't set up another expansion at the end of Cataclysm. They're like, we're finally going to introduce the Pandarians in the monk class. Here you go, and Pandaria. So, Pandaria deals with the third of the old gods in the game, Yashiraj. The old god that the Titans attempted to rip out of Azeroth and bad things happens
You
from.
understood my use of the Naga to obtain the Eye of Sargeras, but it was a necessary tactic to secure the future of Azeroth. Let nothing stop you from doing what needs to be done.
I need to target something first.
These fools.
Um,
Stone to us,
so
just as our blessed queen foresaw. Slay the intruders. Take back what is ours.
I'm dying. I died. Whoops. Lich King versus Spawn. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know all of Spawn's powers, unfortunately. Nor do I know the extent of how powerful he is. So I'd have to default to Lich King unless I could get a better grasp on how well, how powerful Spawn is. Okay, so I did 758.2k DPS, accounting for 238.84 million damage on that fight, putting me at 5th. That is almost 2k below where I'm supposed, 200k below where I, according to the DPS check stuff that I've been running for, like simulations and stuff. That means I did about 200k less than what I'm supposed to be doing. I should be closer to these guys right here. Nick Tion, Vitals, and Howl. According to my DPS, I should be averaging somewhere around 900k, so I'm doing something wrong still. The way we're going, the chances of me getting to host tonight are very slim. So anyway, Pandaria, you wind up going there, you meet up with the Pandarans, which is cool. You get the monk class. The raids introduce, as I said, the third old god, Yasharaj. You also get to deal with the servants of basically the old gods, the Klaxi. And you also deal with the opening of the Mogu. The Mogu are basically like giant terracotta warriors if they were made into giant terracotta warrior Oni beasts. And basically they are a race that was set up by the keeper Raden, who you eventually wind up meeting in order to keep an eye on, help Raden keep an eye on Yasharaj's tomb, which has his heart inside of it, which is buried underneath the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. And you wind up getting an escalation in the Horde versus Alliance conflict because Garrosh turns into a giant douche canoe. Garrosh is the son of Gromosh, who was one of Thrall's battle companions back in Warcraft 3. You wind up meeting him during Burning Crusade in Outland. And Thrall basically tries to teach him how to be a good war chief. He winds up basically becoming a bloodthirsty psychopath who thinks that anyone but orcs needs to die, and it's still one of the weirdest things that Blizz has ever tried to do to the series, because it still makes no sense to me how he went from being like halfway decent to being like orc for life, yeah. But anyway, the absorption of evil around him. I mean, it depends. Is it evil as defined by Spawn? Is it evil defined by a mythical being? Is it evil defined by the user? Because if the Lich King, basically, Arthas thinks he's doing the right thing for his people for most of it, and then eventually winds up doing, evil things, but Blizzard basically hints at the fact that Arthas has been fighting against Ner'zhul inside the Helm of Domination to keep the undead in check in Northrend rather than having them invade all of Azeroth. So they try to redeem him at the end, which sort of bothers me. Okay. I think it comes down to whether or not the Lich King is considered fully evil by Spawn's healing ability or not. And also exactly which version of Lich King we're working with here. Like, Ice Crown Lich King's pretty strong. I'd probably say Spawn may eventually win out, but it's a little hard to tell. I suspect Spawn would probably win in the long run if you'd be able to beat Kratos, and I suspect Kratos could beat Lich King. So by transitive property, if, Spawn can beat Kratos and Kratos can beat Lich King, therefore Spawn beats Lich King. So I think it all comes down to exactly how powerful Spawn's healing ability is and how evil Lich King is. He's pretty evil, but still a little hard to tell. Let's see. So anyway, that takes us through the first 3 raids of the expansion: Terrace of the Endless Spring, Mogushan Vaults, and Heart of Fear. Throne of Thunder involves Lei Shen, who was the first of the Mogu rulers. He basically finds Raden, who is one of the keepers that the Titans left in place on Azeroth to keep watch over the old gods that they sealed away. And basically when Sargeras kills off the Titan Pantheon, the Titans feel it, and because of that, Raden basically winds up getting depressed, and Lei Shen basically shows up and he's like, oh, you're depressed? That's cool. I'll steal all your powers and basically start my own giant empire of awfulness. And so, oh, I want to switch my loot to protection here, and also our tank just died somehow. Cool. Tank died. Good stuff. Always good when the tank dies. Also, things are not being stacked where they're supposed to be. So we wind up going into Throne of Thunder and fighting against the trolls that were made a pact from Zandalar with the Thunder King to serve him rather than being invaded. We also fight Lei Shen and the Mogu, and then that eventually leads into Siege of Orgrimmar, where Garrosh basically unearths the heart of Yashiraj, which is one of the pieces left behind by Yashiraj when the Titans ripped him out of Azeroth, and it basically turns Garrosh into a giant old god conduit, and bad things happen. And eventually we wind up defeating Garrosh, and he's set to go to trial for war crimes, basically, but is saved by a rogue member of the Bronze Dragonflight who says, I'm going to help you. Garrosh eventually winds up killing him once he takes him into a time portal back to Draenor before it exploded. And so we wind up getting into Warlords of Draenor, which is the expansion right before this one, where Garrosh basically sets up what is called the Iron Horde. He basically takes all the knowledge and power he has from when he was running the Horde in the future, takes it back to old Draenor, and basically subjugates all of the clans of the old orcs, winds up imprisoning Gul'dan when Gul'dan tries to make the orcs of Draenor drink from the cup of power of the Burning Legion, and winds up creating the Iron Horde and tries to invade Azeroth because he basically, I don't know why he decides to invade Azeroth, but he does. And so we wind up going into a weird time paradox loop where we, as the heroes of future present-day Azeroth, are in old Draenor before it blows up, fighting against old Gul'dan before the first original invasion of Azeroth happened, but it's actually happening at our current present-day time. And you get into some weird time paradox stuff. The first raid in that expansion was Heimal, where you wind up fighting against Cho'Gall and the rest of the Ogre Magi's, who are basically, they're a faction of ogres on Draenor who are super good at sensing and using magic. And both our fucking tanks just died. Are you kidding me? How fucking bad are you all at fucking... God damn it, are you kidding me? Okay, I honestly could not tell you why all the tanks died. Yeah, probably unlikely that Lich King could defeat him then. Alright, good stuff. We died. It's been a rough night tonight, guys. I'm feeling the roughness tonight. Here's my problem. At some point, I need to get the gear from this place because I doubt I'm going to be able to get into Antorus with my current 922 gear score into normal Antorus if I can't even beat Heroic Tomb. So, yep. Going through the Warlords raids, Heimal, you then go into Blackrock Foundry where you defeat, Blackhand himself, Ren Blackhand, who was the leader of the original invasion force in Warcraft 1 with the original Horde that invaded Azeroth. And you wind up killing him off. But in the process of trying to stop the Ironheart, you actually unleashed Gul'dan on Draenor again, and so Khadgar, current day Khadgar, has been running around this whole time trying to stop Gul'dan. Well, Gul'dan eventually winds up capturing Garrosh's father, Gromosh, and Garrosh actually dies. There's this awesome cutscene in the storyline before you start raiding where Thrall and Garrosh face off, and Garrosh basically blames Thrall for hoisting the mantle of Wartrief on top of him when he wasn't ready and not coming to help him lead the Iron Horde instead of betraying him. And Thrall's like, you shouldn't have tried to make the orcs the only people. The Horde on Azeroth is not just orcs, and I thought I taught you better than that. And Thrall literally is being beat down by Garrosh, winds up grabbing 2 giant earthen hands out of the ground, lifts Garrosh up into the air, and fucking lightning bolts his ass to death. Like, one giant mega lightning bolt. Like, Thor himself would be jealous of this lightning bolt. And so Garrosh dies. And so eventually what winds up happening is Gul'dan winds up contacting the Legion and corrupting the orcs that are still with him for more power. Gorfiend, who's one of his other lieutenants, wind up fighting him, and some other, major Exul Horak here, Tyrant Valarhi, Manaroth. These are all like major people. Archimonde, who's one of the major bad guys in Warcraft lore, is that he's like him and Sargeras and Kil'jaeden are like the 2 top lieutenants to Sargeras. You wind up killing them off, and past Gul'dan from alternate timeline Draenor winds up getting tossed into our present day normal timeline Azeroth in order to bring about the invasion of the Legion through the Tomb of Sargeras, which he winds up succeeding in doing, and that sets up this expansion. And that basically sums up the entirety of the Warcraft lore from the past 12 years. Crafted legendaries are okay. I'm not going to say they're good. They're okay. They're a fine starter legendary for just getting your gear score up, but in terms of actual quality, they're pretty shit. Lich King versus Atrocitus. Atrocitus wins. Actually, that may be a little bit closer than I think it is. I'd probably leave that one up to Screw Attack. That'd be an interesting fight. But I think Atrocitus would wind up winning that just because Atrocitus is stronger. As I said, Lich King, while he is powerful, on the scale of bad guys is like middle bottom maybe. Like, he's not even in the top 50% of bad guy power in the game. He's close, but he's not over 50. Are the crafted legendaries 100k good? That's debatable. I think it comes down to a question of, are they just trying to make a profit? I mean, let's put it this way. The crafted legendary for blacksmithing requires me to have 125 demon steel bars and 65 blood of Sargeras. Basically, Chris, figure out exactly what the mats would normally run you, aside from the whatever the special crafter only legendary is. There's a special item that you have to get as a crafter that you can't get anywhere else, and figure out if it's going to be worth it for you to purchase the mats on your own and just have someone craft it, plus pay for the item, or if you're going to be better off just buying it outright. Personally, I would say don't do it at this point. I think as if you made a new character, you're more likely from just some solid playtime to get a legendary faster than you would, then that'll be worth more to you than the legendary. My other concern is I don't know if the crafted legendary counts against you getting a drop legendary that's more useful to you. I honestly don't know. I know the way it used to work is there was a system that basically said, okay, you don't have a legendary for XYZ spec at the moment, therefore it has an increased chance to drop. I don't know if that system's still in place or not. So whoop, giant poop puddle there. Excellent. Good. So yeah, alright, I did set to protection. I did set to protection. Perfect. I mean, I know what your priest is at. I do. So I think it's going to come down to a personal call on this one, unfortunately. If you think 100k is worth it, I'm certainly not going to be able to stop you. But I know I personally will not be crafting the crafted legendary for my Death Knight or anything like that, or my warrior. But you're in a different position. You're actually trying to make your priest your new main and stuff, which is entirely different than me just leveling another ult because I want to level the ult and see the storyline for myself. So, you know, it's a little unfair for me to judge that, you know, you should craft it or something. Alright, what do we got? Oh, good. More useless crap. Perfect.
Useless beast. Why the queen was fond of him, I'll
Yep.
never know.
Alright. Lich King versus Hulk with a red lantern ring. I give that to Hulk, no question. Exactly, Chris. Wait, why are we going... Why are people going towards... Why are people going over here? Stop it.
Last walked these halls. I did what needed to be done, though at great cost. Be on your guard.
Can you even use
doubt
the
the
crafted
spirit's
legendary
structure
earlier?
Will be friendly or forgiving.
Really? Oh, you can. Huh. So it is. I mean, for leveling purposes, I mean, yeah, it's probably fine, but even still, I'd rather save the 100k. As I said, I personally don't think there's much of a need for it. Alright, here's the boss that, after the second boss in this instance, is the one that I need to kill the most. Hello, mistress. I literally need you to drop for me. Please, drop my pants. Please, I beg of you. Give me these pants. It gives me my 4-piece, which is just super important. Please, I beg of you, mistress. Give it to me. But yeah, Lich King versus Red Hulk. Hulk is already probably going to be pretty hard for Lich King to stop. I mean, maybe Lich King could win that? He'd have to outlast the Hulk with an army of undead, which would probably only make the Hulk angrier. But you give the Hulk a Red Lantern Ring, I'd probably give it to Hulk because Red Lantern Ring plus Rage Mode probably wins.
I'm out of range.
Now, if you're asking me of something like Sargeras versus any of those, I'd probably give it to Sargeras. Except for maybe against the battle against Spawn. Spawn might be able to win against Sargeras with his infinite healing, but probably Sargeras would just open up a dimensional rift and toss Spawn into, like, the Twisting Nether or something. I mean, Sargeras is literally big enough to planet cleave. When you're big enough to planet cleave something, you usually wind up winning. That's just the way it works. Once you get to planet cracker status, it's usually a question less of, hey, will this guy win? And becomes more a question of, by how much is this guy going to win? Unless you have another planet cracker. Unless it's planet cracker v planet cracker levels, I will almost always give it to planet cracker. I have not seen the new Antares cutscenes. I've purposely not gone to look at them yet. Alright, mistress. Retribution spec. Come on, baby. Hit me with them drops. Do it. Do it. Wow, Mistress is just good for any of my specs. Jillian has a special trinket for each one of my 3 major specs. That's incredible. Alright, Mistress, if you drop the cloak, we'll have a really good night tonight, because that not the cloak, the pants. Pants basically make me go from meh to yeah. So, I like to go to yeah tonight, if at all possible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I got stunned like a dummy. I didn't even see them at first because the swirling bulbousness of friggin' Frost Mage was there in my path. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dig my way home. If I dig and I could steal. The winds from the sails of the 3 men who rode. My best friend. Good. Wake up and keep sleeping. Where I was dreaming. Dream girl. Just as I find my footing here. Dream girl. Dream girl. Dream girl. Oh, fuck. No. Oh, fuck. What the fuck just tapped me there? What did I get hit by? What was I hit by, game? I do not know. God, so much shit is hitting me, I don't even know where it's coming from.
My queen has given me dominion over the seas.
I need to target something.
Okay. Cool, being targeted again.
I need a target.
Oh, fuck! Ugh. Did I make it in time? Oh, God, no! Must heal self! Must heal self!
Suffer the chill of the depths. Strip their bones clean.
It's still recharged.
Why are there so many snakes? Fuck, why are there so many snakes?
The tide will crush you.
I don't have a target. I need
Haven't
to
made
target something
mortals
first.
any less pathetic.
What the fuck just happened? The boss fucking despawned in the middle of the fucking fight? What? Okay, cool. The boss literally just despawned in the middle of the fight.
Meet your end, mortal.
Oh shit, step out of the room!
I'm out of range.
Queen Azara's reign is absolute as ever.
I'm just doing it for the story. I probably won't spend too much time with the Death Knight. In fact, I'm probably planning on cutting back on my ults as much as possible for the foreseeable future. The other weekend just made me realize, yeah, I don't really care about leveling my ults all that much. I mean, I did the story, and it'd be cool to maybe get some of the hidden artifact appearances and stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff I care about. You know, getting the hidden artifact appearance, getting the Mage Tower challenge stuff done, but my big problem with the Mage Tower challenges is that you unfortunately need legendaries to do the Mage Tower challenges, and you usually need specific legendaries for each spec, which just requires way too much playtime. Like the fact that I can't even do, I have a friend in guild who has challenge appearances on like 3 of his characters, and I don't know how he did it. I could probably wind up doing it if I just really sat down and tried to figure out how to do the mage challenges with all my characters. But yeah.
Meet your end, mortal filth. The siege surges with power.
Yeah, I definitely, Carmadillo, do not think the Lich King could take out Red Lantern Corps Hulk. As much as I like the Lich King as a character, I also know the power scale in this game, and yeah, definitely not happening there. The Lich King would literally have to get a massive power boost from somewhere in order to even have a chance against Red Lantern Hulk. And yeah, Planet Buster Hulk. I would still give it to Sargeras over Planet Buster Hulk. Any day of the week. Yep. Thank you, whoever decided at the last possible second to move the boss. That was cool.
Chumming the
Oh my god, we did it! Fuck you, boss! I don't even care if I die right here. Fuck you! Fuck you! God damn it! Just drop something already! Bonus roll! God damn it! Give me some goddamn loot! Ah! Are you kidding me? I finally kill her and she... God damn it! I'm not against doing alts, Chris. I'm happy to level with you. I mean, if you want to get your priest up to max as soon as possible, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. I know you want to make your guy, you know, the, your new main. So if you want to level without me, that's fine. As I said, my Death Knight's just there for seeing the storyline and doing some cool stuff. But I'm never going to give up having Drags be my main, basically. So, unfortunately, we got pretty screwed on Mistress. Once again, no pants. I wish I had pants, game. I really do. Pants would be nice. Desolate Host. I literally could care less what drops off Host. I'm not against... Ooh, God. Triple artifact potential. Eh. I guess I'll switch to Prot for those guys, because I honestly don't care about what else is on there. No, not Holy Protection. Thank you. Look, we killed the boss. I'm happy we killed the boss. I'm just very upset that, like, this is, like, the 3rd week I've run this place, and I've bonus rolled, like, almost 6 times per week. No, maybe a little less than that. But yeah, probably somewhere around four times per week for the last 3 weeks. And I have 0 gear drops to show for it. Like, that's staggering levels of awfulness. And that's considering, like, we've killed, like, the same 3 or 4 bosses every single week for 3 weeks. And I've bonus rolled just those bosses, and I still don't have anything to show for it. Alright, so we're taking a quick break. Some people need a break. So... fair enough. And to answer your question on, I guess, what was buffering Carmadillo was that, yeah, I definitely don't think Lich King can beat Red Lantern Hulk, but I do think that Sargeras could beat Planet Buster Hulk. Or Planet Buster Red Lantern Hulk, I should say. I always want to say Red Hulk because there is Red Hulk, but... Anything else you want to ask, Armadillo? I'll try to answer everything I can for you. Some of it, as I said, you know, I just may not be able to answer, unfortunately. Nighthold. Oh, so, fun fact, the I finally got the quest done, Chris, for the Infernal Brimstone level 2, because I finally got the Fell Slate Deposit level 2 upgrade. And basically, you instantly chain into the quest chain for Infernal Brimstone level 3. Turns out I have to go back and defeat Archimond in Hellfire Citadel and Alt Timeline Draenor for an item for the quest. I'm just like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, okay, sure. Still, not as bad as one of the leatherworking quests for one of the leatherworking skills. The Stonehide leather, which is like the normal, non-super rare leather, there's a quest to get the level 3 version of that for skinning, where you have to literally go kill Horadon in Throne of Thunder, Ice Howl in Trial of the Crusader, and the one that's really bothering me, you have to kill Okuthar, the giant demon dog thing from Bard and Hold in Cataclysm. The problem is Bard and Hold is a PvP zone, which your realm has to win the PvP battle in order for you to be able to go into Bard and Hold. So literally I spent 2 days, I spent basically both Saturday and Sunday this weekend checking in and out about every hour trying to see if Bard and Hold ever went to the Horde. Guess what? It never did. That is 48 hours as far as I'm concerned, where I could not complete this quest because Horde is not doing, Tolbarad to get Bard and Hold. I don't know who designed that quest, but they need to go sit on it, because the fact that you have to get a raid that is in a PvP faction zone where you're not even guaranteed to be able to raid it when you want bothers me. No, I haven't got any level 1k legendaries yet, except for on my monk, which that made sense. It was my monk's first legendary, so I was expecting to get it pretty soon. But I haven't upgraded any of my 970s yet, and unfortunately I have not lucked into any 1k legendary drops at the moment. I would rather have to deal with Nighthold 5 more times than have to deal with trying to random into Bard and Hold or go back to Hellfire Citadel. Actually, Hellfire Citadel I'm okay with. Bard and Hold's the one I have a bigger issue with. Good news is, though, I am almost to level 75. I am 1.5 levels away from hitting Ashbringer Artifact level 75. Basically, once that happens, I will stop dumping artifact power into this weapon, and instead I will start leveling up some of my other artifacts on this character. That should make the mage challenges easier as well, so... I don't know. Red Lantern, I mean, literally all you have to do is dump Hulk into the Twisty Nether and he can never get out, technically. So, it's possible to basically banish Hulk to an alternate reality and win. You have to understand, the Titans in this universe are basically God, okay? They're basically almost equivalent to a god, and Sargeras took a 6v1 against 6 other gods, basically. So, I mean, he's not invincible or immortal or almighty, but I definitely suspect he could beat Planet Buster Red Lantern Hulk. PvP is giving 915 now. Interesting. Still probably won't go PvP, but it's good to know. Is it dropping the combatant gear or the gladiator gear? Not that as I said, here is the fugly ass PvP set for Paladin these next 3 PvP seasons. As I said, they went with the fugly ass orange color, always the best choice. Honestly, cannot stand what made them think this was a good Paladin color. It's awful. It's literally brown and like a terrible ombre orange. It's just, it's awful. Okay, tank's just going apparently. All right, we're doing it, guys. Yeah, we're going. Pew 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 pew. Alright, we pew-pewed all the things properly. Good job, us. And someone's gonna activate the trap, and there it is. Well, thankfully this isn't too bad, and honestly, killing this guy's probably for the best. Just in case. This is actually the one that's most easy to skip, so.
I don't have a target.
The Twisting Nether. Let's put it this way. The Twisting Nether is basically like a gateway jump point between points in time. It's like banishing him into a black hole sort of thing. But it's like an alternate dimension black hole, I guess is the best way to describe it. If you've ever seen Cowboy Bebop, you know how they have the hyper gates? And if you get trapped in the hyper gate system, you basically wind up dying in there because you can't get out. It's sort of the same thing with, the Twisting Nether. The Twisting Nether is like, you can summon portals into it, but getting out of it without being summoned, without having like specific criteria is basically impossible. So, just thoughts. As I said, I'm sure someone who knows everything about Red Lantern Hulk and all of Sargeras' powers would do a better job answering the question. Personally, I just think that, I think Sargeras would probably wind up winning. Just thoughts.
I need a target.
And it's not avoiding him. If you're saying the only way to beat Hulk is to put him into, like, hyperdimensional space beans or something. I mean, Sargeras is basically a hyperdimensional space bean. I mean, he can't travel through time and space, but... And to answer the question, I definitely think Dr. Manhattan can take on Red Lantern Hulk and win. Dr. Manhattan can literally break something out on a molecular level. It's like asking if Jean Grey could beat Hulk. The answer is yes. Or I guess not Jean Grey. Phoenix. Could Phoenix beat Hulk? I think yes, the answer is Phoenix would probably take Hulk in a fight.
I need to target something first.
Very nice, Chris. Very nice. Okay. Trying not to die. Where did he go? Dalaran City. Okay. Alright, maybe if we get super lucky tonight, I'll get a legendary here. That would probably make up for just about everything that I've had to deal with. Also, it's getting a lot later than I thought it was. Holy crap. We still have 5 bosses to go in here. My god. %, mastery. That's really high mastery stat. That's a little worrying. Like at that point you're probably giving up stats somewhere else from another secondary stat. Okay. Here we go now. Here we go now. Like, I know that to get, I mean, haste is different scaling between different classes and everything. I could probably get to 50% mastery with drags, and I might actually be doing that because next tier, Greater Judgment winds up becoming like one of the best talents for Paladin, and you wind up wanting to start actually using Judgment, anything that boosts Judgment damage. So I actually got a route tonight that boosts Judgment's damage, and that makes me pretty happy.
Goddess, guide your hand. You are ever impetuous, Hesperian.
Victory shall be mine!
I'm out of range.
Ooh, what the fuck just hit me there?
I need to get closer.
Kill the bird. Kill it with fire.
My arrows strike true! Illune's light reaches its zenith!
I need to get closer. I'm out of range.
Retribution rains down!
cut. I need to get closer. I will dismiss these heretics from bay. Pay the price for heresy. Retribution rains down. I'm out of range.
Burn the faithless. No, no burning the faithless. No, no burn the faithless. Hug the faithless. Show them with compassion.
Goddess, burn the faithless.
No, goddess, do not burn the faithless. Bathe me in your warm, soothing, loving light. Oh, fuck me. I did not clear my debuff. Well, I'm probably going to die here then, because I'm a dummy. Oh my god, please step on it. Yes. Oh, sweet baby child. Step on it. Heal myself. Heal myself. Fuck. Almost killed myself. Almost killed myself. No, do not reveal my sins. Let me keep my sins hidden. God damn you. Okay, not sure what that guy's doing, but I'm not gonna go stand next to him. Fuck. No! Oh, god damn it! Well, I got what I asked for. I got a legendary. Hey, 900k and a mil DPS is really solid. Well, I got a legendary, so coolio. I also got a Heroic Titan Forge 930 relic. Great, cool. I just... I can't believe it. I'm like, maybe we'll get a legendary. We'll make up for everything tonight. We got a legendary. I actually don't want a bonus roll for anything here. Well, that's a little unfortunate. We got the one ring I didn't want. Literally, there are 2 rings, actually technically 3 rings left because Protection had its own special loot drop ring. So literally, here's what's happened now. I've got this ring here. It's one of the last neutral legendaries I didn't own, and we pulled it. The only one I was hoping not to see from the neutral pool. When I say neutral pool, basically, there's a set of legendaries that are available to you as a paladin, no matter what spec you have. And then there's spec-specific ones. This ring right here is one of the neutral legendaries for all 3 specs, and I pulled it, and it was one of the only ones I was missing. The only other ones I was missing was Soul of the High Lord, and that was it. I literally had a 50-50 chance of pulling an actual useful neutral legendary, and I pulled the one I didn't want. God damn it, game. No, it's the wrong ring. The only time that ring would have been good is when I was doing the Mage Tower challenge as Retribution. This was one of the recommended legendaries to have for that. And, Yeah. We pulled the one I didn't want, so hooray. Yay. Well, I guess we're gonna start making sure that for whenever we're doing stuff that I don't care about what loot drops, we're gonna ask for holy loot from now on, because that way I'll pull maybe another legendary that I don't own. And maybe it'll be the one that I actually want, game. Woo. Woo. Alright, well, we did also get an actual... I can't believe it. We literally got a Heroic Titan Forge Relic for my protection spec and a legendary on the one fight I did not care about. We're going from an 880 relic to a 930 relic. Congratulations, Prot Shield. You're now my strongest weapon by 7 item levels before I even go and do anything else to you. Like, I don't know, going to the Netherlight Crucible and giving you +5 additional item levels. Ugh. Look at this. I have a 910, a 930, and a 940 relic in here. My ret weapon is crying right now. Stupid neutral legendary. I did say, hey, maybe I'll get a legendary and it'll make up for everything tonight, so I can't complain too hardly, but yeah, I'm definitely a little salty right now. I need the Soul of the High Lord ring! Literally, it is the legendary ring that makes the entire ret spec work currently, and it's like the one I'm missing. You know, the funny part is, I was like, originally I'm like, oh, Leandra's Fury belt, best combo, that's the one I need to be using. Kept using it, kept using it, kept using it. Soul of the High Lord comes out. I get this ring literally right after Soul of the High Lord was introduced. And I'm just like, I give up at this point because it turns out Soul of the High Lord's the one I want. Spent all this time trying to get Soul of the High Lord, still haven't pulled it. Oh well, whatever. I got the legendary. Fine. I'll take it, game. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Something. I think I'll like it. So, basically, Insignia of the Grand Army is a quest legendary. I can't get it from a drop. Aman'Thul's Vision only comes from Antaros. I can't get it. I have Zephuz, Agrimar, Chain of Thrain, and Pyrades. So literally the only neutral legendary I do not own now is Soul of the High Lord. Everything else is spec-specific legendaries. That's really, really unfortunate for me. Well, you're doing more DPS than me, Chris. If you're telling me that you're pulling... Do any of the accomplishments in WoW transfer over to Hearthstone? No, they do not. The only time there's been a crossover was Hearthstone had a campaign where if you leveled a fresh character to level 20, you got a special mount from a Hearthstone campaign for World of Warcraft. But that's like the only time there's ever been any real crossover between the two, unfortunately. Blizz is pretty... I don't know if you've ever played any other Blizzard games, but... Blizz usually keeps their games for the most part separate, aside from like some random campaign stuff here and there. But usually, if there's a campaign going on for a game, it usually gives you a reward for the game you're playing. It's very rare where they do a cross-promotion thing where it's like, hey, World of Warcraft players, go play StarCraft 2 and we'll give you a cool thing. There's not stuff like that very often. WoW gods are indeed Ficky and Trickle, and I wish they were not so Ficky and Trickle. Wow, Ficky and Trickle? Fickle and tricky, god damn it. Words, mouth, blug. I'm actually confused as to why this paladin is here exactly, aside from artifact power, I guess, maybe? Okay, well, I literally do not care about any drops from the next boss, so... Actually, that's not true. If the cloak dropped, what I would do is until I get Soul of the High Lord, I would drop my legendary cloak, swap in the legendary ring, and start using this cloak. So yeah. Well, people pulled a bunch of access trash. Oh boy, all the trash. All the trash. All the trash got pulled. Bam. Soul guards. All the trash. We're pulling all that trash, baby. What's up, trash? Trash, pulling trash. I got silenced, unfortunately. Stand over here. StarCraft 2 is actually now free to play, Carmadillo, in case you missed it. If you don't own the game, you get the entirety Wings of Liberty campaign, the multiplayer access, the StarCraft 2 arcade access, all for free. If you own Wings of Liberty, you get Heart of the Swarm for free. You still have to pay for Legacy of the Void, unfortunately. Diablo 3 is okay if you're looking for a top-down ARPG. It's pretty solid, especially with the expansion. They definitely improved Diablo 3 from when they first launched Diablo 3, and it was a giant piece of crap. Heroes of the Storm is interesting if you're looking for a League of Legends, Dota type style game that's not Dota or League. It's worth looking at. And then you got Overwatch, your waifu shooter that's Team Fortress, basically, as some people put it. Yes, yes. Also, StarCraft 2 co-op commanders are now all free, I believe. I believe they made all of the co-op commanders free. They used to be paid for DLC. I think all of the co-op commanders are now free, but I can't confirm that right now. I have not personally checked in a while. So, yeah. Blizzard's okay. Spirit Realm, left side, living, right side. Try not to cross. If you get tethered, meet in the middle. Group 1-3 Spirit, 2-4 Corp. Okay, well, I guess I'm going Spirit side. Hello, my spirited brethren. How are you? We might be in trouble down here. I'm kind of... This is usually where we die, guys, so if we wipe out here, I'll probably just bow out of the raid because it's almost 10 o'clock. If we don't wipe out here, cool. I mean, we killed the boss then, so yeah. I'm already getting PTSD flashbacks. I like how all the rangers are like, I don't want to be top side, I want to be bottom side. Wah. Who knows? Maybe if we get super duper mega lucky, we'll get another legendary right now from this boss. Are you listening to me, gods of World of Warcraft? Are you listening to me? You know the scary thing is, even though I have like all those neutral legendaries, I'm still missing 1, 2, 3, 4 legendaries for ret spec. 1 neutral and then 1, 2, 3 spec specific ones. That's actually not bad. If I'm only missing 3 spec specific legendaries for ret and I get lucky and pull Soul of the High Lord from my holy spec, that means I'll only be missing 3 of the legendaries aside from the special ones that are the quest one and the Antorus drop one. Interesting. Don't say that, Chris. You make me sad. Look, I put up with this for 3 weeks without a loot drop, and I asked for a legendary, and I get it, and it's like literally the worst it's one of the worst pulls I could have asked for. It's not even like, no offense, it's okay, but it's so specific situationally wise that it's almost not even considering a decent legendary. Who knows? I could get that lucky. I mean, the chances are super duper slim since I just pulled a legendary. At this point, I think all legendaries are counting equally for all specs, but I'm not sure. I've never really delved super deep into how the legendary system works. Since they made changes. I know that, as I said, the way it used to work is spec neutral legendaries counted for every single spec as a legendary and reset the chance of you getting the legendary for that spec. Spec specific legendaries counted only for the spec they were for. It's why people were really upset at the start of Legion, because if you pulled a spec neutral legendary, it basically sets you back legendary wise compared to someone who pulled a spec specific legendary. And then it used to be you got capped at, I think, like 4 legendaries. After 4 legendaries, you basically stopped being able to get legendaries for a while in Legion. Blizz then changed it. Then they reworked the system, I think, so that all legendaries may have been neutral to spec or something that they dropped for. I honestly don't remember. Oh, of course you mean kicking me in the balls to switch genders in the nicest way possible, Chris. I feel the love. I feel it. I don't know, Chris, can you maybe double check exactly how the legendary system currently works in 7.3? Whatever current iteration of WoW we're on. Can you maybe double check exactly how legendaries work? So, I'm still in group 1, which means I'm still on the correct side. Thank you. If I was really trying to grind legendaries out, I'd be running Mythic Dungeons and Emerald Nightmare and Nighthold and Trial of Valor every single week with this character. I know you insult and threaten because you care. As I said, I feel the love. I feel it. I honestly hate being spirit side, but whatever, I guess I'm stuck over here. Any other questions, Carmadillo? Oh god, it's 10 o'clock. Can we get this going, please, ladies and gentlemen? If we can kill this boss tonight, I'll have considered it a good heroic night. Though, pretty awful considering, Antorus is out now, and I'm, having problems clearing, this entire raid in a single night. Compared to Nighthold at this point, like, we were crushing Nighthold. Oh, Nighthold, I almost miss you. Almost. I guess if I really wanted to, I could start knocking out the Raid Finder versions of Antorus. Just for loot drops. What item level is Antorus Raid Finder? 915. So it's heroic quality loot from here. Interesting. Might be worth doing. Because, I mean, this trinket's just that good. We'll see. Chris, can you hit me with a link for the poll, the new poll that we put out as well, by chance? God, why? Look at this. This is almost as bad as this. This is like gingerbread brown with icing on it. I don't want to be a giant gingerbread cookie, damn it, game. The spec neutrals reset the legendary drop counter for all specs. Yeah, I got hyper screwed then, just then. If that's the case, I might as well just go back to Retribution spec and start running up the Retribution counter again. God damn it, game. Wow, I got super screwed there with that legendary. Oh boy, did I get hosed. Oh, God. I'm literally in the middle. I was literally standing like 2 feet from the middle.
Life and death interwoven.
Again? I literally got it twice in a row. Fuck you, game. Why are you giving me the chain twice in a row? Fuck you. Soulbound. Not on me? Wow, not on me, game. Rest. Ah, sweet, sweet dying. We just lost 2 people in a row. Good stuff. Soulbind, not on me. Yeah, not on me. Not on me makes me happy. Look! Oh, fuck me. Oh, god damn it.
Life and death interwoven.
Juliet, run to the center! Juliet, you gotta run to the center!
The ties that bind.
And the spec urine is what counts for the drop counter, not the spec you have tagged for what loot you want. So hold on, hold on. Does that mean even though I have the game set to give me protection drops, it's counting the counter as if I'm legendary, as if I'm retribution?
Life and death interwoven.
Because I know that as Retribution, as playing Retribution, I have set my loot to Protection and Holy and gotten legendaries for those specs. So, I can understand it resetting, the neutral legendary resetting the counter for all the specs, which is really, really unfortunate. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does count, again, the counter counts as the spec you're in, not the spec you have loot set for. So it's using my Ret legendary counter for my protection spec. That is really unfortunate because I have like almost every Retribution legendary. That means that it's going to take forever to get my Prot and Holy legendaries then. Oh boy. That's unfortunate. So basically, if I want to get legendaries faster, I actually need to tank and heal stuff as Prot and Holy to raise my counter faster because they have less legendaries than my Ret does. Like, as Retribution, I technically right now have I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 legendaries out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have, wait, really? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? What? I'm only missing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Sorry, never mind. Counts right. So I have 8 out of 12 possible legendaries as Ret. Compared to Protection, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of a possible 12. And Holy, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of a possible 12. So basically, if I want to get a legendary faster, I need to switch to Prot or Holy, run stuff as Prot or Holy, and it will raise my counter quicker, is what you're saying. Gotcha. So basically, play as protection, but set it for ret loot rather than playing as ret, setting it for prot and holy is what you're saying. Okay. My concern is that it raises the chance of me getting the soul of the High Lord, but it also makes it a lot harder on me. So basically, I just need to go run a bunch of mythics and, like, Emerald Nightmare as protection or holy. And, you know, set it for ret loot. And I should, in theory, get Retribution, the last Retribution legendary faster. Interesting. Interesting. Most interesting. The thing is, I want the spec neutral legendary. That's the problem. I'm missing the last spec neutral legendary. I need the, like, it's the one I need of all things. I need the last spec neutral legendary. So I'm willing to sacrifice getting other legendaries for prot holy in order to, you know, get a spec neutral, the last missing spec neutral legendary. Alright, here we go. Once again, we're going Spirit Realm. We actually almost had that last attempt. If people hadn't been bad and died in awful positions, we would have been okay. Well, whatever. For right now, I'm just going to keep setting it to holy and try to raise my holy legendary counter a little bit.
Something first.
The ties that bind.
And somebody's already dead. Good way to start this attempt. Someone already died. Someone interrupted, unfortunately, so I can't blow the armor off those guys. And people are dying. We've lost 2 people already. We're doing really well here, guys. And we lost a healer.
Let their agony wash over you. Life and death interwoven.
Soulbind on not me. What the fuck just... Did he cast the... Did I miss going... Cool, yep. Soulbind, Wailing Souls. Soulbind. Yeah, cool.
So many souls to serve us.
Yeah, well, it makes, you know, it makes up for the fact that, you know, you have to level 4 separate artifacts and stuff as Druid, so, you know, being able to game the system the most makes sense. Alright, so by the sounds of it, if I want Soul of the High Lord, my best option is to go run a bunch of Mythic dungeons as Protection or Holy, set the loot to Retribution, and, pray that Soul of the High Lord drops. Hey, Denix! How you doing, Denix? Hope you're doing well. Sorry to hear about your class getting nerfed. Good to hear that you got a new power supply. That's always a good thing. Nothing much is going on here. I may be a little late tomorrow night, guys. I'm not positive. I'm going to the eye doctors tomorrow afternoon to basically be told how bad my eyesight is and hopefully get a prescription for a new pair of glasses and stuff. So I'll be dealing with that for tomorrow afternoon. So I may be just home a little bit late because of that. So... Yes, Chris is the Emperor of Mars. He's actually coming back from Mars. Oh, Chris, find this song for me right now. Aqua, coming back from Mars. Hit me with a link for that, please. I wish I had Alexa right now. I almost be like, Alexa, play me Aqua's Coming Back from Mars. Cause we are coming back from Mars, where they're driving. Yes! Ah, yes. We gotta play. Yeah, Back from Mars.
Hey, you,
Phoenix. I'm sorry that Alexa doesn't understand your kick-ass accent. Well, I hope that it actually shows up like it's supposed to, Phoenix. Yeah, definitely call them and tell them that they're dealing with the Duke of Mars. That definitely will not get a call from the Insane Asylum immediately afterwards. Why is my health so low? Like, I'm literally avoiding all the damage, and yet I am taking the most damage. I do not like this, Green Eggs and Ham. I do not like it, Sam I am. There we go. I finally got fucking topped off. Hell yeah. And somebody died. And somebody else died. And all the people dying. And all the people running. Fuck you. Stand still and die. Die, soul residue. Die, 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 die. But no dying here. Alright, we're actually looking pretty good here right now. We've only got 3 dead DPS. All the healers are alive. That's better than we normally do. Sundering Doom. Alright, so the next Doom cast I need to go run in on, if I remember correctly. Doomed Sundering. Yep, alright. Didn't get myself killed somehow. Fuck yeah, gonna shield myself here. Bubble, bitches! Bubble! It carries you through every possible situation. And the tank died. Cool. Doomed Sundering. And we're dying because the tank died. Well, Corporeal side did its fucking job. Yeah, cool. Jesus Christ, look at how close we were. 50%. Jesus Christ! You're finally watching Naruto, Deenix? Interesting. I actually just started watching on Netflix The Irregular at Magical High School. Sort of interesting. I will be getting some time off for Christmas. I don't know exactly what time I will be getting off yet. Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne! Ha! Jesus, look at this. Juliet basically did the second place and the fourth place's healing at the exact same time. Alright, this will be my last attempt for the night. I want to go relax at some point tonight. And unfortunately, that is not happening at the moment. Okay, coolio. Okay, I already dislike this KCMO, who's basically acting like a giant douche canoe. Yep, definitely not a fan of that guy. Oh, I just noticed the guild name Sour Jellies in Squirt Gods. Yep. Definitely appropriate naming in this game. La 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 la. Sorry, did I lag there for a minute? I was looking at some stuff. If it looked like I was lagging, probably more than anything, it was me just not moving my head as I was looking at stuff. I've noticed as well sometimes that the camera will look like I'm not moving, and I'm like, I'll open my mouth and it's like, ah, there it is. And unfortunately, no, Chris, after this attempt, I'm going, actually, I might just leave right now. I'm gonna give up. It's 10:40. I'm out. Apologies about that, guys. I was thinking we were gonna get something faster than that, but I'm not willing to stick around for another attempt. So I thank everyone for coming out. Deenix, great to have you back. Hope you're doing well. Hope to see you back more often. Tomorrow night, guys, will be Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist stuff. Oh, Chris, before we leave, can you hit with a link for the voting poll? Deenix, if you want to vote. Yes, vote. Vote for what you want me to play next. Currently, Dungeons 3 is in the lead, which is fine, but it won't be happening until it goes on sale. I'm hoping for like a Steam Christmas sale or New Year's sale where I can grab it cheap. So I'm thinking what I may do in the interim while I wait for it to go on sale is play Horizon Zero Dawn, because Horizon's pretty friggin' dope. But I haven't decided on that yet.
How are you?
Congratulations, Zephu's Ring. You're going instantly into the bank, along with all the other legendaries that are not being used at the moment. Congratulations, you get to join the Legendary Emptiness page. I hope you feel welcome. Yeah, all the legendaries that aren't being used right now. Good stuff.
See you later.
So I thank everyone for coming out, and as always, guys, you take care. I will see you tomorrow night. All right?